Hey, welcome back, Nerdy Cool Dad Podcast, episode 41. I took about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, off from doing any sort of podcast filming, and to be honest, things are just getting. I needed a break. Things are getting a little too overwhelming once all the protests started in relation to the death of George Floyd, and everything just kind of was very chaotic. And personally, I don't think I should have been spending too much time talking about, I don't know, a bunch of random shit, really, when there were so many important things happening in the world, and I felt people needed to focus on that. Not that I'm thinking like I have a big following or anything like that, but either way, I think it was the right thing to do, and it gave me some time to sort of recharge, because honestly, my head was up in the clouds. I didn't even know what to talk about. A lot of things were affected. Just your attention span on anything in your everyday life was just sort of way up and down. Things are still crazy. Not that it's that different. On that note, I was just talking about this yesterday with a family member, and I actually don't even know what to follow anymore. I don't know if riots are still going on. I feel sort of completely ignorant to it. And if anyone's got any decent news outlets or places that might be a better way to get information on this sort of stuff, let me know. I'm not going to be following agendas on CNN and Fox News and all that kind of crap. But yeah, drop a post in this and let me know. Let me know what that looks like if you've got a good source. I'm just sort of curious because it was just so overwhelming. There's a lot of content going around on YouTube and other social networks, and seems to kind of have fallen off a bit. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I don't want to get involved. I'm not the right person to be talking about that sort of stuff. So I'll just leave it as it is. But it's good to be back. I don't know how long I'll do this sort of personal blog for, or vlog or podcast, whatever you want to call it. But we'll see. I definitely want to get to episode 50. That's a good milestone for me. But I think long term, I do want to focus more on my cooking videos. I'd like to focus more on doing tech tutorials, things of that nature. I should be doing more of that. So all in good time, and maybe I'll throw in a sort of a podcast here and there, but only time will tell. Also, I've been super busy at work the last few weeks. I don't know what it is. It's just been crazy. So time has not been my best friend right now, and it is what it is, right? You gotta make priorities in life, right? As for I really started this whole podcast talking about COVID in general and things going along with that nature. The fact that something sort of superseded that is crazy in itself, right? All these racial protests and things going on. Good for you being involved. That's great. That change needs to happen. But now we're sort of dealing with, it's just one thing after another in 2020, because now COVID numbers are going up in the United States big time. Again, I mean, it shouldn't really surprise you given all the protests going on and people in close proximity and all that. But it was sort of bound to happen. And I can't even say for certain that this is the second wave or is almost like a relapse sort of thing. Maybe it's one and the same. I don't know enough about this sort of stuff, but I'm just looking at the numbers that are being presented, and it's hard to make a different argument at this point, right? They're back kind of almost at their peak numbers again, if not already. Death counts are lower. Maybe people are growing more immunity to it. However, testing, I'm sure, is very rapidly happening. But that's just in the U.S. Canada's not following suit. Maybe we'll see what a couple weeks have to do with the numbers, or how they change those numbers. But our numbers are super low, so I'm happy about. I don't know if it's necessarily that we've done a lot more than the United States has. I mean, I imagine we have. We have a smaller population. It's a little bit easier. We have a better healthcare system. But it's I'm not an expert in this sort of thing. I'm just looking at the numbers, people. But yeah, I mean, you look at the first wave still hitting some countries pretty badly right now. You got Brazil that apparently doesn't even want to present the actual numbers. I'm just kind of seeing what's available online, so I'm sure that's worse than it actually looks like. Russia's pretty up there. India's skyrocketing now. India was always going to be a scary situation based on the population. So we'll see what happens there. I've heard that China's going through preparing for a second wave in Beijing, but again, that's sort of word of mouth. I haven't actually looked into that myself. But pandemics, things, viruses, things like that in the past have always come in second waves. So we should be expecting that. I mean, I was told in Canada, wait for the fall because that's kind of when it's going to happen again. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I've got a daughter itching to get into junior kindergarten. So as a parent, I'm pretty stoked about that. As my daughter's pretty excited about that. But I can't say for certain that's even going to happen because daycares are opening. Most parents don't even want to put their kids in daycare, let alone putting them in elementary school with a much larger population. And I don't know that I necessarily want her first experience with school to be something so bizarre, because that's not going to be the norm going forward, right? But right now it's pretty intense. So we'll wait and see. We'll see what the future brings. Take it one day at a time. I'm registering her just so it's easier to say, okay, you know what, I changed my mind, than to not register and then want to change my mind to say yes, I would like to. So you gotta play it smart like that. Anyone got a kid going to kindergarten? Definitely something to consider. But yeah, it's times are crazy, people. It is what it is. I wanted to share an experience with you. One thing I hate doing is going to the doctor. It's not necessarily seeing the doctor themselves. I mean, I like my doctor when I get to see him. What I don't like is the wait times and how hard it is to make an appointment sometimes, and having to drive down to the doctor. I mean, most case, 95% of the time when I go see a doctor, I already know what's wrong with me, or if there's nothing wrong with me, I'm just looking for a requisition for something else or something simple. And I was really happy about having a phone call with my doctor because I got everything accomplished that I wanted to. I didn't have to go anywhere, and they called me. Win, 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 all around. Now, luckily, he called me at a time where I was available because I have lots of meetings throughout the day, and they gave me like a 6-hour window when I would receive a call. So, I mean, that worked out fine, but talk about some positive changes out of COVID and medical system, and I mean, things like that. I really hope they stay around for the long haul because it was a breath of fresh air for me personally, someone who's not going to the doctor very often. Now, those that need to be examined, different story altogether. I don't know how that works in a COVID state, but I'm happy with my results, so good stuff. What I'm not happy about is some of the items I've purchased online. Old Navy, for example. I'm waiting like 3 weeks for my order. I call their automated system and it doesn't seem to even exist. It says it's just sitting there. I guarantee you something's lost or something's broken. I don't know. So now I have to call them. They got long queues. The other day I waited 45 minutes before I gave up, and I was doing other things in the background, so it wasn't that big a deal. But it's still a pain in the ass. Home Depot, I've been waiting like a month and a half for a doorknob that was supposed to be transferred from one store to another. No idea where the hell that is. So, I mean, it's natural that stores are going to drop the ball, but I don't really care. I paid for it. Don't say you can do something if you can't deliver on it, all right? That's all I'm saying, all right? Don't make promises your ass can't check or something like that. I don't know. That's probably the worst. That's probably not the quote at all. But anyways, things I'm doing now. I mean, COVID's not as big a deal in Canada now. We're kind of opening more things up and seeing how society does. And I mean, Ontario is kind of one of the later rollouts because we've had more cases than anywhere else in the country, specifically Southern Ontario. But I'm starting to get out with more friends and family now. Just small groups, nothing crazy. Still being cautious. You know, not sharing drinks or smokes with people. That's for sure. But yeah, just being as cautious as you can in a small group. I went fishing on the weekend. That was fantastic. So happy to get out. The fishing was kind of shitty. It's funny how you can spend like 6 hours and catch like 10 fish, where another day you go for 2 hours and catch 30 fish. So I mean, I blame the change in weather. If you're a fisherman, you can feel me on this one. You know, you have a hot streak for a long time. Let's call it like a week, 2 weeks. You go fishing, it's like pretty simple. The fish are biting. They're active, all is well. The second there's like a cold front that comes in, or a big storm or whatever, it just changes the landscape completely, makes it that much more difficult. You got to try different tactics, and what you were using and doing before doesn't work, and you know, sometimes you don't have the patience, right? So you know, it is what it is, and you know, you carry on, right? So next weekend, or this coming weekend, I'm going fishing again with my brother. Doing just like a small tournament sort of thing, nothing big, but I'm excited for it, and I gotta redeem myself because I went bass fishing for like 6 hours and caught 2 pike. So what the fuck? That's my luck over the weekend. Actually, my little nephew came. I think he's 8 years old, and he outfished both of us. So good on him. He's being primed to be a strong fisherman in later in his life. So we're proud of him there. Outside of that, I mean, I got a camping trip in I think the second weekend of July. I'm super excited for that. It looks like everything will be a green light for camping now. So I'm glad I timed it for when I timed it. So really excited for that. And I got a message yesterday that my rec soccer team is going to start up again. They haven't gotten the schedule or anything like that, but on Soccer Ontario or Ontario Soccer Association, something like that, they've got like a beefy regulations book that I gotta look at or something like that. I don't know. I mean, what can you avoid? Especially I'm a goalie. I'm gonna run into people and do things. So we'll see how that looks, and take it one day at a time. I'm still waiting for professional sports to start up again in North America, although I'm still cautious that it will be a thing. I don't know. Say whatever you want until I see it. It's just speculation. You know, the sports world likes to speculate things more than anything in life. So we'll wait and see how that looks. And yeah, I'm super excited either way. But that's my episode for today. I'm going to keep it somewhat short. And I'm looking forward to getting back on the saddle here, folks. Stay tuned.